Wander around.
For the most part.
Really sticks well. Flavors.
Would be nice to see a couple more younger faces.
Yes. So it seems to be a challenge.
There we go. All right. Thank you all for coming out tonight for candidates night. My name's Rodney. I'll just be kind of helping organize this event tonight. The format, before I get going, just an announcement for Loudon voters, which most of you are, on town meeting day, which is Saturday the 15th, we have the layout at the gym will be very similar to how it always has been, but we are adding one additional check-in line, so there'll be 4 check-in lines. And when you go in, when you enter the gym, you'll split, and A to K will go to the left, and the rest of the alphabet will go to the right. And so there'll be 4 check-in tables, and I hope that speeds it up a little bit for everybody, because we usually start late. So we've added the tables, so now 4 check-in lines. So just watch for the signs. We'll have plenty of signage, so you should be all set to make your way to the front for the check-in. So just as an announcement there. Tonight's format will be, we're going to go around the table from your left to your right, the audience's left to right, and we'll have a 3-minute introduction by each of the candidates. Tell us who they are, why they're running. You don't have to use all 3 minutes if you don't want, but you have up to 3 minutes. And then what we'll do is we'll open it up for questions. So in the previous years, we've had town positions here, and then school board. This year we're just combining it because there's not as many running. So that's the format. All right. So you'll get 3 minutes. I have a little timer here. If you hear it go off, time to stop, and we'll move on to the next. And you don't have to let me introduce you. Just start right off on the next person. Okay.
All set?
All set. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Louise Andrews from Salisbury. I'm a school board candidate from the town of Salisbury. But as far as voting for school board members, you can vote for every member from every town that's on the ballot. I've lived in Salisbury 40 years. I'm a member of the New Hampshire House on Judiciary Committee. I'm on the Salisbury Budget Committee, and I'm running for school board. I have been participating in Merrimack Valley School District school meetings and committee meetings and school board meetings and public hearings and annual meetings for about 13 years. I have a good working knowledge of the school district. The reason I'm running for school board, I have 2 things that are really out front for me. We have got to make a curriculum, come out about with one, that teaches every child how to read and how to do math. So today I Googled Merrimack Valley School District in the proficiency level just in reading. And it said the overall was somewhere around 49% of proficiency. So that tells me that somewhere around 50% of really don't have proficient reading. You have to do better. Now the school board says every year it's all about the kids. It is about the kids. But they do nothing to improve the proficiency in reading and in math so that every child leaves that school and knows how to read. The second thing is finances. This $2 million deficit that happened last year should have never have happened. It's from poor management. The bottom line is this: the school board has the total responsibility of the SAU. I don't care how many business administrators or anything you have, is the top people of the school board. And they hid from all of us this deficit. We got too close for comfort, and then they put their explanation on the website. That is wrong. We should all have known a lot earlier what was going on. We need 2 things we need from our school district: accountability, honesty, and transparency. And I'll tell you, if I'm a school board, ever elected a school board member, I will fight for all three. Thank you.
And you don't have to get right up to the microphone.
You're
They
back.
pick
Yeah.
up pretty well.
terrible at that.
Is it automatically,
That's good.
is it automatically on?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm Lorna Carlisle. I'm from Salisbury. I actually went to Merrimack Valley, and my daughter went to Merrimack Valley, too. I was on the Community Power Committee in our town. I also am on the Friends of the Library, and I'm currently on the Budget Committee in town, which I think will help translate to being on the school board and looking at their budget situation. I think education is the key to everything, and yes, reading and writing is important, but you have the state legislature that's trying to strip out just down to reading, writing, and arithmetic. And this is a changing world. We need education that's superior, not adequate. And I think the $2 million deficit, I don't think they were trying to hide it. I think it was a surprise to them, and when they found out, I think a lot of it has to do with special education costs, which are mandated. It's very hard to control a lot of those costs, because if you have a student that moves in, you have to take care of them. The other thing that I don't know that the school board has a total control over it, but the concern I have is vouchers, and I think that's pulling away from our public schools. And if the state has that kind of money, they should be putting it into the public schools. That's on the taxpayers' backs, and we can't afford higher taxes, so we have to watch our money. And I think a huge percentage of the budget, if they're going to talk about giving vouchers away to people that have over 350% of the poverty limit, a family $71,540, they want to eliminate any financial qualification for vouchers. So we ought to think about what we're doing. We're stripping away support for our public schools. Thank you.
Of course we can.
Hi, I'm Stacy Jarvis. I'm from Boscawen. I moved there in 2021 with my husband, daughter, and 3 dogs. We, before that, lived in Loudon for 7 years. Specifically moved to Loudon to get my daughter into LES because it was such a great elementary school.
Can you speak into the microphone?
Oh, sorry. Okay. So my background is in banking as well as technology. I worked for Merrimack County Savings Bank for 7 years and then moved into the tech field. So I would like to bring my background in finance to, as well as cybersecurity from the tech field, and see if I can help out the school district with that. Some reasons why I'm running are I would like to get back into community service. Working for Merrimack County Savings Bank, I had a lot of exposure to community service that I no longer have working for a global tech company, so getting back into helping my community out. I also have a daughter in the high school, so I would like to be more involved. There have been a lot of changes, and so I would like to provide what I can to the school board to improve the school district. I would be looking to improve the success for our students, every single student K through 12, looking for increasing those test score results, but also just looking to make the budget more efficient. I think there are things we can look at in the budget that would give way to improving other areas of our school districts. I think that vouchers are taking a large part of funding that belong with our public schools. We cannot increase the success of our students while we're taking funding away from our public schools. Let's see. I think that's about it for me, so I'll pass the mic over.
Well, I'm not, excuse me, I'm not as brave as these people. I actually wrote something down that I can read off, so I'm going to do that.
Can you speak into your microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. So my name is Tom LaLiberty, and I am running for the one-year open position in Boscawen. I have over 30 years as a public educator. I had 10 wonderful years right here in Loudon as the elementary principal. I understand schools, budgets, policy, staffing, curriculum and leadership. I also know the importance of having a trusting relationship between the district and the community. I want everyone who is listening tonight to clearly understand who I am and what I will contribute to the board if elected. I have been a thoughtful observer of our district's challenges over the past year, and my decision to run for the board is motivated solely on my ability to be a supportive influence. I have my own thoughts and I have my own values. My focus since I entered my name as a candidate has been on my effectiveness to be one of 11 board members. If elected, I will collaborate with my teammates on the board. However, I have campaigned free of others so voters can see exactly what I stand for. Consequently, I have not formed any alliances with current board members or other people running. I've asked for no financial support or sought any group's endorsements. I just want you to know who I am. And I haven't even asked anybody to put my signs on their lawns. Those that are people that asked to have my signs. I have my own core values and beliefs, as I said, and I'll share those with you tonight. So providing a quality education to every child is non-negotiable. Research has long stated, and COVID made visible, what human-to-human connections, they are the #1 factor to support student success. Our teachers, counselors, nurses, paraprofessionals, tutors, and other staff must be our priority. Developing a school district budget must balance the schools with the capacity of the taxpayers to support budgets. As I stated earlier, we prioritize the needs of our students by investing in the people who educate them. With that said, school boards must also be mindful of what items are necessary and what can wait, which means they are required to make difficult financial decisions. As a school board member, I promise to operate with openness and honesty. I believe we can enhance communication with the community by exploring new avenues for information sharing. I have specific ideas regarding messaging, almost there, to promote clarity, which will foster a stronger connection between the board and families. I have the experience and the capacity while working with my fellow board members to bridge the community expectations with the needs of our schools. If elected, I come into the position with the skills and knowledge to hit the ground running and to make an immediate impact. With my focus of student success, educator support, responsible budgeting, and effective communication, I think resonates with most people. And I promise these values will not be compromised if I am elected to the board.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Nesbitt, and I'm the candidate from the school board for the town of Webster. I've been a resident of Webster for the past 13 years. We moved from Stratford, over in Stratford County. I am a retired public school educator. I spent 17 years at Hudson's Alvern High School, teaching mostly American history. I also taught 1 year in a for-profit college in Dover, McIntosh College. So why am I running for school board? One, I miss being in education. It was probably the most important part of my life, and the day-to-day dealings with other fellow faculty members, administrators, and above all, the kids was something I really missed, and I really want to add back to that again. So one of the things that's a strong point for me is my collaboration skills. I was elected by the faculty as a union rep, so I worked day to day as a liaison between faculty members, the principals, and even the school board members, so I was able to work back and forth. People felt that I had a very calm demeanor, that I was very pragmatic, and that I had a lot of integrity, that they could honestly talk to me and know that the message would get through. So that's hopefully will be an important conduit from you, the people, to the school board here. Things that are important to me. One is the academic integrity. I want to see our classes with good teachers who are working hard with good materials. I know, and Louise made a good point on the test scores. I should also point out the test scores, this is a national issue, and the test scores nationally have not recovered since COVID. As Tom mentioned, the fact that people were not seeing on a day-to-day basis with their teachers, and I only had to teach 1 year online, and it was horrible. It was really a terrible experience for everyone involved, and people everywhere are struggling to catch up with that. So I really want to push academic integrity. I worked on several curriculum committees while I was in school, and that's an area I would really like to be working on if I join the school board. I believe a lot in free inquiry. I want the students to be student-driven work. I believe in strong collaboration between members. I also believe in being transparent and available to the public. My phone number will be available, my email will be available. I always answer my email. It may take me a little bit of time. It's the first thing I do every morning is go through it. So if you have an issue, I will try my best to communicate back to you. I'm also very pragmatic. What that means is I'm not an ideologue. I'm not tied to a liberal or a conservative ideology. What is important to me is, does the solution work? Does it help to solve the problem? Does it help to keep budgets in line? Does it help to keep student scores up? And with that said, I'll answer questions and pass it along.
Gary Tobin, Bosquen. Been in Bosquen now since 2019. I've been in New Hampshire since 2000. Been in manufacturing and sales for 53 years. So I know budgets, I know staffing. I serve on 6 committees in Bosquen, including planning, energy, and Old Home Day. And in January, we lost both of our board members from Bosquen. They resigned for different reasons. So they put a call out for somebody to step up and sign up for at least the last 2 months of the term of Lauren Martin's, which I did. And then I decided that just to make sure that we had a voice from Bosquen, I'd run for the board. I have no kids in school. My kid graduated a long time ago. I believe in transparency, accountability. We've got to keep to the budget and below the budget. We've got to educate our kids, give them what they need, make sure the buildings are up to par. All I can say is, go out and vote, whether you vote for me or you vote for Tom or Janet, please vote. That's all.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Mark Griffin. I'm running for selectman here in Loudon. My wife and I have been here 17 years now. We have a 14-year-old son. Be kind of hard pressed to remember a time over the last 3 or 4 years that we've missed a selectmen's meeting. We've been here through thick and thin, watching the situation unfold and how things work. I am an IT guy by trade, and I consider that public service on a scale for my customers. I work for another county here in the state, not Merrimack, and customer service is what I see my job as. That always leads to problem solving and conflict resolution, things that are important in trying to be a member of the board. I wrote some stuff down. I am a member of the American Legion here in town. And I'm a member of a group of people that sometimes seem to, I don't even know how to say this. The people that seem to be around me are opinionated, and some people in town have taken exception to that. but I want to dispel any rumors or any myths or anything like that. My friends do not represent me, and I don't represent them. They don't tell me what to say, and vice versa. I just wanted to kind of clarify that. I served in the United States Marine Corps, and that gave me a sense of public service, which I'm looking to translate now into the town. Once again, having been here for 17 years, my wife and I aren't going anywhere. I'd like to become a member of the team of the people that I see, the public service people here in town that that seem to keep things moving in the right direction for our town. So I will pass it on.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, my name is Ned Lazat. I'm also a candidate for selectman. Can you hear okay?
Could you talk
No.
into your microphone?
Is that better?
And I could.
Is that better? Okay. Ned Lazat, candidate for selectman. I've been a resident in town here for over 36 years. I'm owner-operator of Lazat Graphics, a small local business. I am currently a member of the Loudon Economic Development Committee for just over a year now. Previously, I was on the Loudon Zoning Board member for over 24 years. And before that, I was a founding member of the Loudon Business Association with a core group of folks. I was the association's first chairman for 3 years, and then the second president for the next 3 years.
Could you pull the microphone?
It's, okay. Did you, want me to say that again, or y'all
Just pull it towards you more.
more like that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not used to doing this stuff here. But anyways, so I've been a member, I've been involved in town organizations for quite some time. As far as the school budget issue, I just believe it needs to be cut back, and how much that gets cut back, that'll be at the meeting for tomorrow night. As far as town issues, the town ladder truck issue. Originally, I was against it, and I felt the Speedway should be financially supporting the renewal and upkeep. But after the fire chief explained the whys and hows of current building conditions for residents' homes and the new businesses coming in that have changed over the past 10 years, I now support it. Loudon's fire equipment has become an integral asset to working with other towns' fire equipment assets and maintaining a supportive relationship. The fire chief has researched a conservative bond structure that works in our favor by not getting surprised by cost increases in the building timeline. By putting a deposit down initially, then making payments over time will help keep our costs manageable in updating the town's fire assets. And on that, I pass it over.
Can you hear me okay? My name is Alicia Kingsbury, and I'm running for the 3-year term on Planning Board. I've been on the Planning Board for a little over a year now. I started 2 years ago as an alternate, and then there was an opening for the 1-year position to finish someone's term, so I completed that, and I've decided to run again. I have been in town for 27 years, I believe. I am a local business owner. I'm a realtor and property manager. I've been involved in my teenagers' lives in town and otherwise in a number of different positions for nonprofits. I believe that it's our duty to get involved in our community, that we all have a responsibility to get involved. I'm also a firm believer that you have nothing to complain about if you don't step up to try to help. So with that, I'm hoping to bring fairness and openness and transparency to the planning board. I believe it is an asset, and it's important to make sure that everybody feels heard when they come to the planning board for issues. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight, because I do think it is important to get involved and educate yourself and learn what's going on and meet who is representing you. And I hope that you'll come out next Tuesday to vote for me.
I'm Alvin C. I'm running for the zoning board 3-year term. This will be for my second time at the 3-year term. And I want to be able to help the town, keep the town much as people will understand it now and not go crazy, so that's why I want to be on the zoning board. And, there's not a whole lot more to say on that. It's just, if you have questions later, I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming out and hearing the candidates speak. My name is Earl Tucson. I'm running for the zoning board. I yield my time.
Hi, I'm Becky Murdo Osgood, and I am running for the one-year term left on the tax collector's position. I am the current appointed tax collector. I've lived in Loudon for 25 years. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 3, and a firm advocate in volunteering. I have been on the board of the Loudon Youth Athletic Association and coached teams when my children were younger. I've been a church volunteer on the board of the Friendly Kitchen, and I'm currently a CASA GAL. I own my own, I'm a CPA and own my own firm. I specialize in management advisory services and project management. I'm also a grant writer and a micro boutique owner. As I'm fiscally conservative, and when I was trying to pull together the budget for this year, I tried to reduce wherever it was possible on the budget lines. My goals going forward would be to try to work with the selectmen and other departments involved to increase the elderly exemptions, because I did notice when people were coming in this year that there were several people that came in that were very much struggling to be able to pay their real estate taxes. And some people even mentioned needing to go to the local food pantries in order to have additional money to pay towards their taxes. We do a very, very low elderly exemption compared to other surrounding towns. I'm in the midst of gathering information, and that's one of the things that I will be working on. And I'm also looking to modernize the office and make as many forms and other applications available online. I will. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So what we'll do now is a minute to respond to any questions. So step right on up to the microphone if you have a question.
Not everybody at once. Let's see. We're getting off early.
Jeff Leonard, this is for the school board members. Are you just a yes or no, for or against the new budget?
Against?
For.
I'm for the budget.
Jeffrey, I can't answer that with one word. I can tell you that there are 6 positions in this budget that are being funded with full salaries and benefits, and they're not putting anybody in those positions. And that part of the budget I cannot support. 6 positions, full benefits, full salaries, not putting anyone in those positions. I can't support that part of the budget.
For.
Oh, sorry.
So both are for.
All right, next. Got a follow-up?
No, I just said thank you.
Okay. All right, next. Next question.
Sure.
Hi, Dennis Jakubowski. This will be for the selectmen. The legislature, Concord, continues to not properly fund education, especially. They cut the interest and dividends tax. That's gone now. There's hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue the state is not getting. And all those costs are trickling down to the towns and to the school districts. So my question to the selectmen, will you encourage our state senator and state representatives to increase the funding that they send to the towns to relieve the property taxpayer? I mean, I don't know if anybody knows that in New Hampshire, 76% of school costs are funded by the property taxpayer. And that's why we're always talking about trying to cut the education budget. We shouldn't be talking about necessarily cutting the budget. We should be talking about providing a better education for our kids. So that was a long question, but if you just want to briefly respond.
You want to go first? Or?
So, I'm not in favor of raising taxes in general, okay? And as far as, funding dentists, I'm not familiar with what the state, is giving back to the towns and so forth. But I will say that from being at the last school budget board meeting that we went to, that there's something really off in terms of how they're accounting for the expenditures. And, as a small business owner, I mean, I don't get a raise every year. I don't get benefit increases. I have to make, tough choices as far as like what's going to happen with my business expenses and stuff like that. And what I also find is that it seems that at the school board meeting, it's the way it's set up, and it's been like this for over 20 years, it's like it's us against them, all right? And they have never done a good job at marketing themselves in terms of their working for us, with us. When I always hear about the children, I mean, the cost of the school budget goes up so much that, the children that we're educating, can't afford to live here after they graduate, can't afford to pay the taxes after they and I mean, at some point, we were all kids once, and, it's kind of like we should all get on the same page. And I think that that's something that seriously needs to be looked at going in the future, is that you don't get an increase every year. Sometimes it's good to work with the public, the townspeople, and, put a flat budget. I'm a commissioner on our village district where I live on Hardy Road, and we have worked diligently to maintain, we passed another flat budget this year. I know that is not as complicated as everything else, but it's the principle of it, working with other people, that you have to be aware of your constituents. And, not everybody is in the same financial situation and can afford all these different things. So we need to be mindful about that. Anyways.
Thank you. I would encourage that maybe the reps would need to meet with people and help understand what the laws are. As far as the tax base, you said that the state doesn't pay as much, so it puts more on the taxpayers. But what does the state pay that stays off the taxpayers back in the same aspect? So I would, without really saying I don't know, I would say I would want to educate myself a little better on the situation before I could really answer a question like that. With that being said, the town and the county have a small part in your tax bills, and the school has the majority of it. Like you said, you said 76%. I've heard between 65 and 70, so I would imagine that you're not too far off with that. But kind of like Ned said, we would also want to encourage that maybe the school boards would like to work with the selectmen as well as the representatives to kind of have a better approach between the state rep, the town, and the school district. Thank you.
Next question.
Do I need to say my name? Hi, I'm Roger Maxfield. In our proposed budget this year, the 25-26 budget, there's 34 individual categories. You probably looked at them, I hope. Is there any categories that you feel are too high or too low? Or in general, how do you feel about the budget? You probably looked at it, so let me know. Thank you.
Okay.
Who's that question for?
Yeah, not the school. The two selectmen, please. Ned and Mark.
Once again, I would like to look at previous years and see if line items are staying consistent or if anything's radically going up year over year. Obviously, fuel, maintenance, stuff like that. Unfortunately, we're not getting the same services now for the same prices that we were 5 years ago. But again, knowing the budget lines increasing, we would have to determine that we're being as smart as we can. And, maintenance is something that's key, obviously, in public service. You can't afford to have an engine down or a police cruiser out of commission. So, maintenance, I would imagine, rises every year rather consistently. I would say as long as everything stays on a consistent trajectory, that I don't see too much of a problem with things going up. They're inevitably going to go up. Everything's going up nowadays. Thank you.
So with the budget that's being proposed this year, one of the things that was really a pleasant surprise at the last Selectmen's budget meeting was that they actually, took the opportunity to go back to the department heads and sharpen their pencils and come back with a reduced budget from what was originally proposed. And it struck me that, geez, wouldn't it be great if the school board did that, But they don't. They just keep pushing it forward. So, but with that, Mark and I have both, been to town meetings and stuff like that, and, been to the selectmen's meetings, Mark more so than myself. But you see the budgets, and you have a choice. You either are going to spend more in maintenance and upkeep, or you're going to spend more in new equipment, which helps keep the maintenance down. And that's not anything dissimilar to anybody's household budget of what you have at home, whether it's washer and dryers, cars, equipment, roof on the house, and that sort of thing. So every year's a new year when it comes to the budget, and trying to, be mindful about, what do you need, what can you put off, and what's an emergency. And I think that overall, the boards of selectmen in the past have done a really good job. There's always been, some debate on some things here and there always will be. But that being said, that's what you're looking for is, a sharp eye and trying to get the biggest bang for the buck without, going to Vegas and spending it all. So, that's kind of where I sit with the budget.
Thank you.
Next question.
Becky Herman, Loudon. Do I have to say Loudon? I don't have to say Loudon. I'm here. I'm asking a question to the school board candidates. Could you please go through and quickly explain a little bit more about the budget and the financial impact for each of the towns? And what your thoughts are, what could change in the budget as far as that?
Okay, when I talk about I'm not for the budget, I don't mean I want to throw the whole budget out. But we're in a position in our state that people have got to start thinking and use some common sense. The state's in trouble financially, the county wants more money, the school wants more money, and our towns need more money. We are at the point, and we don't even know right now how much federal money we are going to lose in the state of New Hampshire. I heard it might be up to $300,000 and some odd $1,000. So all that stuff is passed down the line. I'm not a negative person, but for this next year, I would like us to see how much we can hold the line as much as possible till we can get through this knowing I was told today, they're not gonna know until almost at the end of the year how much money we're gonna lose from the federal government. We got to have some common sense.
So I think about 75% at least of the budget is pretty much non-negotiable. The contracts with the teachers, and when you look at their salary and benefits, the health insurance is something that they've talked about looking at. I think that's something I would like to push more of, because it does go up every year. When I was working, health insurance always went up. It never went down, unless you try to find a different carrier. So I think that's something that you could try to look at, but right now, part of the budget, it's already set in stone. You got transportation costs, which really can't be, you can't get rid of them. You could try to look at different ways of, can you get a smaller, they have trouble getting enough bus drivers right now, and so they've got, they're looked at buying a smaller van, so you don't have to have a CDL license. And so that way, if they don't have a bus driver, they can stick somebody in really quickly. But a lot of the budget, it's not, you just can't do it. It's like, special education is very, very expensive. And some of those kids, I don't know if we could take a look at it, but they have to bus them sometimes out of the district because we can't handle that in Merrimack Valley. You still have to give those children a service, but that's something I would hope we could try to look at and say, do we have to send somebody all the way to Portsmouth every day to have a kid educated? So
in regards to the budget, I think there are some things we could look at as far as the salaries that are not being the positions are not filled right now. I anticipate that they're keeping those open for potential needs to fill those salaries as children maybe filter into one school system. Maybe we need to hire a third teacher at Pennacook Elementary. I'm not sure. For the budget, I would echo that there are so many things that are non-negotiable. The majority of the budget is non-negotiable. So if that's voted down, what are we looking at to cut? Those cuts are going to hurt the kids. They're going to be teachers. There's going to be music, athletics. That's not acceptable. We're looking to increase our students' success rates. So cutting from them, whether we like the budget, the raises that are happening, those are contracted. I would also say that the budget could be improved with increased funding from the state. There's an issue with vouchers. Legally, the school has to provide transportation even if a student in the district goes to a charter school also in the district. So if a child is going to Ben Franklin Academy here in Loudon and needs special education transportation, the school district is on the hook for that financially. However, they don't receive any of the voucher money. That all goes to Ben Franklin. They don't receive the per student funding. So these are issues that we can look at because we're not getting the funding. The state is also not funding the CRTC students. That's an incredible program. And they are legally not funding at the rate that they should be. They're legally supposed to be funding at approximately 75%. They're currently funding at just over 30%. And those are issues that we need to look at.
So I've done a pretty deep dive into this and the impact on all the towns, and really got into the adequacy and SWAPT and what it means and breaking down the budget. I've got deep into it and I really know the impact. But let me tell you one thing. I've heard a lot of talk about, the state's going to do this, the state's going to do that. I don't disagree with that, but I am not running as a state representative. I have no control over that. As a board member, the only thing that I can do is work within the rules and the regulations and the confines of what we have. That's all I can do. So what I would say that is concerning, that I think that can be taken out of the current budget, and I want to be very clear. I would never cut anything for the sake of cutting. That makes no sense. And I would never do anything that could harm one child or remove one employee from the district. But as I said, there are 6 positions in this budget, fully funded, salaries and benefits. And those positions are not going to be filled. They are not being designed in case they said at the meeting, we are trying to create a large fund balance. So they are asking you to fund 6 positions that don't exist. I'm going to tell you, I've built budgets for 24 years as an educator. That does not happen. That is just something that does not happen. Okay, you don't do that. And when you think about what's happening here is, and I'm going to be real quick, but this is really, really important. So I'm going to just talk about the town of Loudon. Right now, this is the amount of money this school year that you are being asked to raise, that you have raised. You have adequacy money. You have revenue from the state that offsets that. Everything between my hands is what you have to raise as a community. This is what's happening in Loudon. Your adequacy money has dropped. You're going to receive $200,000 less than you did this year. You're being asked to raise $1.2 million more. That's a lot of money. And I'll fund kids, and I'll fund teachers, and I'll fund support staff all day long. But as I said, sometimes you've got to make hard decisions. And I just don't agree. I don't think it's fair. I just don't think it's fair to ask that additional burden on the taxpayers of positions that they know they're not going to fill. Thank you.
So we've had some pretty good and very specific areas discussed by everybody. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the root and how can we possibly deal with that. The state of New Hampshire is dead last in the country in state aid to education. That means, as Tom just pointed out, that you're paying approximately 75% of the cost of your children's education. Our students who graduate from UNH have the highest debt of any university in the country, which means it makes it very, very hard for them to be able to afford to find a home, a place to live, especially in an era where the prices are going up and they have a huge debt to carry. So what I might suggest to the lady who asked the question is, ask this to your state representatives, because the state really does need to pony up and help up more. Back in the Great Recession, back in 2009, certainly the state revenues plummeted, and they reacted by cutting as much as they possibly could. One of the things they cut were school teacher pensions, police pensions. Those were shoved back onto the community as well. So my income is Social Security and a pension, and that's funded by the people of Hudson. Talk to your state reps. People have talked for years about the New Hampshire advantage, but the New Hampshire disadvantage is the people who are being asked to pay the bills here. It does not question their ability to pay it. Regardless of your income, you've got this big debt to pay, and that's not a fair situation. So talk to your state reps.
I agree, you need to talk to your state reps. We're running for the select board, but our state reps control the vouchers, they control the special needs requirements. They're cutting our funding. They're talking about raising the vouchers so more people can go in it. That's costing your public schools. Every person that doesn't go to the public school, we still have to fund them. You got added expenses. They talked about contracts. Some people were complaining about the 17% raise that the superintendent's getting, but that's in his contract. That's into the second year already. That was a year and a half ago that was approved. The only union contract being approved this year is for staff. That's the only one you can control the dollars on. And that's been negotiated, so, unless you want to go back to negotiation, you got to go with that. But you got to look hard, and I think that the school board's done a fairly good job. There's a reasonable increase. I mean, everything's going up. We may not even have a education department in Washington anymore. He's fixing to take it away. He's raising tariffs, so every damn thing we buy is going up. So if you don't pay for the stuff in the budget today, it's gonna cost you twice as much next year. That's it.
All right, next question.
My name is Doug Prue. For the two selectman candidates, would you be able to share with me what the condition of the ladder truck is that necessitates buying a new one, that it can't be fixed? And also, if you could outline what the real tax impact is going to, is that going to affect for not just 1 year, but for the future going forward, please?
Want me to go first? Yeah, sure. I have been down to the fire station and taken a look at the fire truck that we have. The ladder truck in particular is what you're talking about with the bond. It's an older unit, I think 2004, if I'm not mistaken. So it's had 20 years of service on it. It's not all of that's been in Loudon. Was bought used. And it seems that the make, the model, things like that affect the part availability and the ability to fix the thing. So it seems to sometimes get down on service, and we have a harder time fixing it because of its age and, if you will, the rarity of the actual ladder truck itself. As far as the impact on the bond, I know that I've seen a chart out there, and it's like 25 cents per thousand year one, 24 year two, and it slides down to the 10th year, I think ends at 17 cents per year. We either continue to fix the thing that parts are getting harder for, or we discuss approving that bond and getting a new one. Thank you.
So the chart that I saw, I thought it was more like, and I may be wrong, it was like 50 cents per thousand. No, is it lower, Tom? Okay, so it came down lower. Okay, good. We'll go with Mark's answer on that one.
I saw the chart.
Yeah, it's just
I know
like-
I'm right.
Yeah. Okay, good. But I've also, in talking with the chief and so forth, and looking at the fire truck. So it seems that there's a monopoly on fire equipment by the manufacturers in the country. And basically, within a 10-year lifespan, things go basically out of date. And getting parts and stuff like that become rarer and rarer. And so, you can get a good deal, supposedly, on, something used, but then you've got the service thing that you have to deal with. And my last visit, the chief was talking about just multiple bills for the ladder truck that just like, it was out of control. And then it's not only that, but it's out of control, and then it's not in service. And one of the things in terms of, getting, an education on the ramifications of how vital having fire assets are in concert with the other area fire communities is that by doing what the proposal is as far as getting a new ladder truck, it actually complements what Concord has. And then Concord basically has 2 ladder trucks, but one of them is basically, a parts, donor, and it's only there for emergencies if it works at all. And so Loudon and Concord complement each other on many service calls in the area. And it's the same way with pump trucks and other heavy equipment. We don't bear the burden on all the different types of fire equipment that need to happen, but we happen to be, because of the racetrack, we got this wonderful ladder truck thing for the, going back over 30 plus years ago. And so now it's kind of become part of the system. One of the things in also discussions is that in the past 10 years, the types of housing and the types of structure for the businesses has increased in height. Roofing systems have increased, especially with solar panels, and you can't put ladders on the roof if you've got solar panels. And so what happens is that it becomes necessary to have an elevated, fire hose to be able to attack the areas needed in order to extinguish a fire. Some of the buildings that we have coming in down the pike in terms of SR1 over at by the track where they're building a new structure, is that's a huge footprint, and it needs to be, needs to have an aerial in order to cover something, fire in case it happens. And it's like that with a number of the commercial buildings we have already in town. Having a ladder truck helps, with that availability about being able to extinguish, a fire, access, a roof system and so forth, being able to bridge over, wide gaps. And so because, what the chief put together as far as a bond, the initial cost of this, I think it's over $1.5 million, but because we get some money in the fund, that it brings it down to that. The proposal is not to come up with that money all at once, but by doing a bond, we establish a payment, we get a deposit in with the manufacturer, which prevents cost increases, which are a normal business condition of, going up percentages every year until the thing is built. And it takes, from what I've been told, a minimum of like 2 up to 3 years to build a piece of equipment. So by getting in on a time already?
Oh, twice.
Twice? Twice, by getting the bond in place, nobody wants to, raise the taxes, but by doing that, you'll be able to kind of lock a price in and thereby save money over the course of time.
All right.
So I didn't go over, and I was gonna say, he actually mentioned something that I thought is very important as well to mention in answering that question, is even if we pass the bond for the new ladder truck, we're looking at a 3-year lead time on getting that thing into the town to go into service. That means 3 more years of maintenance on the one we got. Thank you.
All right.
Scary.
The real answer was ask your fire chief. That's what the real answer was.
Dwayne Gilman, Kenny Road. I just have a question for selectmen, planning, zoning. There's 3 departments that work together. It's planning, zoning, and select board. To the selectmen, what would you do to increase the working relationship between all 3 boards? And to the people already sitting on boards, because all 3 of you are on boards, what can you do better to make everybody work together better? So go ahead, selectmen.
I'll start. I don't know, it doesn't seem like there's a whole bunch of cooperation unless there's a lot of meetings I don't know about. I would encourage that maybe it would be mandatory that there was, maybe selectmen, the 3 boards meet once a month for an hour or 2, just so that, things like people come to the selectmen for issues with planning or zoning and vice versa, where maybe we could all come together and figure out the things that people are fuzzy on as to who has ultimate responsibility. People have come to the selectmen, you guys before, and said, hey, this is going on, and you really can't give them an answer because you're not the zoning board or the planning board. So I would think that maybe more of a mandatory meeting between the boards to find common ground and get on the same page would be better. Thank you.
We have over a couple of times in the past, when I was on the zoning board, there were meetings in conjunction with both selectmen, planning, and zoning, and in times that we had the town attorney there to answer any questions that were of gray area. And I myself found those to be, very productive because it really kind of gave an overview as to whose roles are what, and the questions and answers could be answered directly. I'm not sure if it's necessary to do something on a monthly basis, but I would say, kind of like on at least a, bi-month, every 2 months to every 3 months, as kind of like a, collection to get, all the heads together, to keep things moving in a direction that, we're on the same page. And we're not causing issues where, we've got, town attorneys, like we've had in the past.
Right.
So,
Now, and just an update, just the three that are currently sitting on boards, what would you do better to increase the relationship between all three boards?
Well, my suggestion would be to meet quarterly. I think it would be helpful to meet quarterly and go over anything that's sort of overlapping departments. I personally have tried to pay more attention to the other boards. I try to go to all the select boards. I at least look through the minutes. I would like to see the zoning board meeting streamed online because I know I already have a ridiculous amount of nightly meetings. But I think all of us could work better to have a more clear understanding of what the other department's doing. But I think quarterly meetings would be super helpful.
Thank you.
I hadn't really thought too much about that, but we do from time to time try to keep up with what's going on other boards, particularly the chairman have more involvement there. It's obviously something that needs to be looked at, and while we don't have some of the crises that I've heard of and stories of in other towns, we don't want to get to that point either.
Right.
To answer your question, one thing I think that's important is, in a town like this, many of the members of the boards are not, we're not lawyers. We're not professionals in that sense of the word. So educating the board members becomes very important. I've seen, minutes of selectmen's meetings where things that have been said aren't what is in the law, for example. And I've seen things happen at zoning board meetings and planning board meetings that aren't actually doing what, for example, one thing that's come up repeatedly in recent years is burden of who has the duty of enforcement of the zoning ordinance.
Right.
And really, it's quite simple. Open up the zoning ordinance, read, and it specifically says that the duty of enforcement of the zoning ordinance is on the Board of Selectmen and their designee. Education's important.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being the best relationship we can have, 1 being the dysfunctional family, where do you think we should be, or where do you think we are now? This is for the three of you. Where do you think we are now, and where do you think we need to be? And then I'm all done.
I think the meeting that Ned alluded to there, I think that did help establish. What's that?
I'm not trying to be rude.
No. I'm sorry if I come across as angry. I'm not. The meeting that Ned alluded to, I felt was very important to help educate all the boards where some of those divisions of responsibility between the different boards were. And that is educating. That educated many of the board members at the time.
I tend to agree with most of what Earl just said, but as far as where are we now, I think we're probably in the middle, and somewhere in there, I'm not sure exactly where.
I just got to rephrase the question. The question is, if we're 10, if we have the best relationship in the world versus 1, the dysfunctional family, where do you think we are with a number, and where do you want to be? It's just a number.
Yep. Because I still continue to get some requests, for example, to weigh into things without, I've been asked to weigh into things when I'm not the board. I'm a member of a 5-member board, and I don't have authority to weigh in those sorts of things. And so when I continue to get those kinds of requests, yeah, we might be like a 3, 4 tops.
Where do you want to be?
Well, where you'd like to be?
Yeah, where do you want to be?
10.
Yep. Sir?
I would agree we should be at a 10, but I'm still going to go with about midway, somewhere between 4 and 6.
I'd say we're between a 4 and a 5, and I'd like to see us end up between 8 and 9, because it's never going to be perfect, but I think if we're putting in more effort, we can improve things.
Yep, okay. To the selectmen, thank you for showing up. I know there's 2 other people running that didn't show today. So thanks for showing up and taking
Well, we just
questions
made it,
and.
we just made it half as easy, right?
Right, it's just, I just want everybody to know, there's 2 other people running and they didn't feel the show today, so thank you guys for showing up, appreciate it.
All right, next question.
Tom Blanchett, 55 Stores Drive, and I'm not here to talk about ladder trucks. My question is to the school board members. Our bosses, the selectmen in the town of Loudon, came to us as part of the budget process as department heads and asked us to sharpen our pencils and make some cuts. We did. And every time I hear school board members talking, and first off, thank you all for wanting to take on the challenge of being blown apart in social media and in your own communities. It is I'd issue you all bulletproof vests if I could afford one, I can't, but I know what it's like. So thank you for taking on that task of wanting to do this job. But we were asked to cut our budgets. And there's not much room in any of our budgets in this town to cut. You're responsible as a school board member to provide education to our children up through grade 12, regardless of their ability, regardless of their health. As a department head, as the fire chief in this town, I'm responsible for providing public safety to 6,000 residents over 47.5 square miles, to the tune of about 1,000, 1,200 calls a year. They all don't get scheduled. They happen when they happen. So when I'm asked to cut my budget, and I have a lot of fixed cost, there's not a lot of room for anything, much like what you have, but I had to do it. And I still have a mission to accomplish, I still have a job to accomplish, but those cuts came from people. Those cuts came from people. They came from merit raises, primarily, and then they come from fuel, because who knows where that's going to be. I thought we'd be all right, but after the last 2 days, I'm not sure. Okay, that's what it comes down to. People, that's where I had to cut my budget. And every year I hear school board members, well, we can't touch people, they're non-negotiable, they're contracted. Those contracts come up for renewal. And this town loses a lot of good people, a lot of town employees that have a lot of institutional knowledge that cost this town a lot of money to replace every single year. And the other towns in the district are not a lot different. So we need to figure it out. Is there somewhere we can cut that money from that isn't people? And I do inspections at LES, so I'm pretty sure I could help you out. If you want some suggestions, come talk to me. Or are we going to cut people? Because that's what the town has to do. The town has to cut people. So thank you for your willingness to serve, and I hope that you'll all look at that very, very closely, because I have residents in this town that sometimes, factually, have to wait 22 to 27 minutes for an ambulance because we staff one, and if I can't staff the second one because we don't have people, they got to wait for mutual aid. And if you're laying on your floor having chest pain in the middle of winter, conserving heat in your house because you're on a fixed income, and the inside of your house is 58 degrees, and you're waiting a half hour for some nice people to come pick you up and bring you to the hospital, there's some value to that. So I know you are in charge of educating kids. I'm in charge of safety for the entire community. And those are the decisions and those are the lines that we're having to make as department heads. So seriously, I wish you all luck, but you need to find some money because you're going to be asked about it. Thank you.
If I could respond to that, the people, as you point out, sir, are the most important thing because of the institutional knowledge and the cost of having to train and replace people and the time and effort it takes from say, as a teacher to mentor a brand-new teacher and everything they need to learn. On the other hand, let's talk a little bit about technology, and everybody wants all the latest technology, and if you watch TV, you're being swarmed with the latest this and that and everything. The school district I was in decided it was a great idea to give every student a laptop when they came into school. And yes, it's great because it's important in this day and age to be computer literate, but we found that more often than not, kids were watching anything but what they were supposed to be watching. And it's absolutely astonishing how they can work their way past all the firewalls in the world. And I don't want to be talking about, the Pilgrims while kids are watching porn in the back of the room. So that's an area that, in some ways, just good old pencil and paper, because you can't use AI with pencil and paper to write papers. They're doing it themselves. So I know one area they talked about was having to renew all the licenses for the various computer issues and everything, and that might be an area that I would certainly want to investigate so we don't have to make the cuts in people who make the real difference.
Anybody else want to respond?
Yeah, Louise, you can go first.
You sure?
Oh, of course.
Thank
Don't
you.
steal his thunder.
Okay.
I have no thunder.
In our school district, and I've been to enough meetings, I've watched close, our school board, whether they like it or not, have allowed the SAU to run everything, and they sit back and just yes and no and yes and no. We need a school board that will look at the budget and dig into it. I dig into stuff, but I have to beg for the information. I know for a fact our school district spent $500,000 on a project. It's not the project. There is no RFP, which means they didn't put it out to bid, and there was no contract. So how much of this kind of stuff is going on in our district? How much of this stuff could be put off maybe for another year? We need a school board that's willing to sit down and go through that budget. And like fund balance, government will spend all you give them. And there's not one of us that know how much extra money is in our budget because it's in different kinds of line items, and then during the year they transfer it. We got to change.
Yeah, so there's a couple things. First of all, I'm going to say that the school board did a nice job, and the superintendent did a nice job looking at enrollments, which is always very important. And they did reduce some positions because the class sizes were so small, and most of those, I believe, were at Loudon Elementary School. So that is something that has happened. I'll just go back to the part I disagree, then I don't think you still fund them if you're not going to put people in. But I think there are some other areas that you could look at. You have Webster and Salisbury, they have declining enrollments, and they are very small schools, and you got classes where you have under 10 kids. I think it's worth a look. I know it was discussed a few years back about making that one school, and I think that could save the district a lot of money. Again, I don't know if it's feasible, but I'm saying it's worth a look. And I'd also say another place that's worth a look is you have the Washington Street School, which has some alternative programming in there. And I know when I was a principal here, we had about 1,000 kids in the high school. That number is considerably lower. So I think it's worth a look. Is there room in the high school to make those programs part of the high school, and then you won't have to, fund the Washington Street School? So I think those are things to look at. It's a lot of work, a lot of effort, but I think those things are worth it.
All right, next question.
Rodney, I have a question. And I think Tom brought it up with, Tom, you mentioned something about there being like funding, you're trying to have funding for like 6 ghost teachers? There's a proposal,
So it was said at at the public hearing,
Yeah.
near the end of the hearing session, when they were talking about warrant number 3, actually, it was a Loudon resident who asked the question about the Loudon positions, and then Mr. Hemingway from Webster asked the question about unfunded positions that were in the budget, and the superintendent did say there is 6 positions in the budget that they have that are funded, but they are not going to put people in them. And that's just the part of the budget I struggle. And let me say something, just in case, because sometimes when you are critical of someone's decision, it comes across as personal. This is not personal. The people at the SAU, they're good people. The school board members are good people. They're well-intentioned, they got good hearts, they want what's best for kids. I just disagree with that, with funding those positions. So that's kind of my struggle with it, Ned.
Yeah, so I just want, because it caught my ear, Tom, and, given the state of what's going on about, sending welfare checks to people who are dead, okay, we hear in the national and so forth, cutting budgets. I know everybody rolls their eyes and so forth, but the truth is that, when the selectmen asked the department heads to sharpen their pencils, okay, I mean, that's a sharpening the pencil, moment where, it's like saying, coming back to the people, say this is what we're trying to do, but you know what, given the state of where things are, we're going to take those back and reduce the proposal that we're looking for. It's that type of cooperation between, the SAU, the school board, and I agree, the school board, it's an ungrateful job.
Yeah.
To deal, okay?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But when the communication is kind of like, you feel like it's almost like covert, because things are being put off the side, and they're not being brought forth in a clear, practical manner. It's just saying, hey, it would be nice to be on the same team. I mean, really, you don't get funding without a tax base, and we're the tax base. I mean, and the tax base is also the teachers, the SAU. I mean, we're all in it together. Anyways,
Let's get some questions from out here. All right, more questions from the audience.
I have a question to the candidates for selectmen and planning and zoning board. Has anybody considered an impact fee on new housing and development, anything, to go towards equipment, like cruisers and fire department stuff?
I would have to research the law on the impact fees. I know that the impact fees, at least we have a certain criteria that they have to meet and what they can be used for. I don't
We voted those out. I don't think we have those anymore.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that they're even allowed for that. I also wouldn't want to the housing prices are already really high. We've increased our code fees, so everything is costing more. I'm not sure that's where we would want to put the fees.
Ralph, want to answer?
I mean, as Rodney said, the town of Loudon did have, it was in the planning board process, not the zoning board process. They did have impact fees that were assessed to developers and things like this. They were voted out. There were some difficulties even administering that program, if you'd call it. It's easier said than done, and good enough.
I don't think that the impact fees are workable enough to try to implement, and just adds too much cost.
It adds a huge administrative cost. Brenda, shake your head up. Yes, nod, yes. Yes, I mean, Brenda spent lots of time just administering, because you have to do, well, I can't charge for this 2 feet of asphalt, but I can for this 2 feet. It was just really, really difficult. All right, more questions. Second round.
Means everybody else gotta go second round too. This is for the selectmen, the future selectmen maybe. Now there's an ex officio for the planning board already. that if one of you guys get voted in, you're probably going to be elected to do that. But there's not for the zoning. Would you be willing to be present at the zoning board meetings too? And I don't know legality about it, if you can or you can't, but I'm assuming anybody can. It's a public meeting.
I would say if we have an ex officio for planning, why wouldn't we have one for zoning? I mean, we got 3 selectmen, it's not like we're picking on the same one guy. Be like, hey, go to planning, go to zoning. I would imagine that that person or that selectman being with board members and seeing how they operate would have a better working understanding of how everything works together. You know, like that, you know, that number system, you know, what number are we? It would help maybe bring more cohesion between all the boards.
Go ahead, Earl.
Just real quick, you know, the way our government works, we've got an executive branch, a legislative branch, and a judicial branch. When it comes to towns and land use, the selectmen and the planning board represent effectively the executive branch. The legislative branch, of course, is town meeting. You folks vote on, you know, what ordinance goes in and what have you. And the zoning board acts as a quasi-judicial branch. The role of an ex officio is something that's codified in state laws. That's, you know, in order to have those two executive branch boards working closely together. The zoning board as really a separate branch would not have, you know, you're not going to have the president get a vote at the Supreme Court. Okay, and so again, in state law, there's no way that the selectmen can have a vote as an ex officio does at a zoning board meeting. But certainly, it's a public meeting. Of course, they can come.
Yep.
What's
Be a conflict of interest. You could, they can't sit on.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a vote, but they would, Selectman Gilman was talking about bringing all of you guys closer together to understand each other's roles.
It's a public meeting. Of course they can come.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think with that, John,
Jeff.
Thanks,
Yep.
Jeff, is that, you know, the idea about doing something on a quarterly basis, you know, to get all the members together and so forth, just to kind of, you know, get some sort of a collective awareness about what the issues are and so forth. I think that that's probably a really good step forward.
So that would have to be an open meeting too, if all 3 selectmen are going to be there.
Well, that's the thing, is that would be something in addition. And again, you know, that's something that in the past, when we've had some meetings with the town attorney and so forth, they've been very helpful. I mean, they clarify a lot of things, because any sort of unawareness, and, you know, Earl was saying, is that not, you know, we're not professional attorneys. You know, so, you know, people that get elected have, you know, their own ideas and feelings and stuff like that. We have, you know, ordinance books and stuff like that, which are our, you know, absolute guideline. But like with, you know, planning board and zoning board, you know, the boards have, you know, some discretion depending on, you know, what, you know, whether it's a special exception or whether it's a variance. And so, you know, that's where the boards have to do their thing. But it's always good to have all, you know, the elements in the town, you know, kind of like, you know, pulling together. So.
Okay. And for the planning board, the town of Loudon pays almost $1 million a month to the school. And it's easy to spend money when it's not yours. So I've been to the school board meetings, and literally Tracy Bricky runs the meeting, and everybody just says, yep, yep. So I hope whoever does get elected will have a voice of their own and be able to speak out against something that you really don't agree with. I don't see that at the planning board. And the gentleman that asked about the
school board,
the parents, the permits, 80% of our I think it's 80% of our permit fees goes to the town, to the road agents. Okay, thank you.
School board want to respond at all? Was a question, but.
Yeah, I'll respond to that. Yeah, so Jeffrey, I appreciate that. I go to all the meetings, and you know, if I'm elected, like David said, I'm an independent thinker. I won't be a rubber stamp, but I'm also not going to be a contrarian. I am going to look at every issue, and I am going to be critical of, or not critical, I am going to be thoughtful of how it impacts students, how it impacts teachers, and how it impacts the communities, and make decisions based on that. So yes, I will be vocal, I will ask questions, and I will give my input.
Okay, go ahead.
Most people think I am very hard-hearted. I'm not. I'm really a big softie. I believe in 100% education. I only have a high school education. Everything I've earned in life, I've earned the hard way. But I promoted education to my kids, my grandchildren, and 2 of my daughters finished college, 2 of my grandsons finished college, and one year ago got a PhD. I'll tell you, I'm proud of them. I really promote education. But as far as being a school board member, I won't be hard, but I'm an independent thinker. Nobody tells me what to do. I have no special interest to anybody or anything. That's true. And every decision I make will be based on the kids and what is best for them in their education. Thank you.
I'm a free thinker too. I have my own thoughts. There's only one person in this world, and I've lived with her for 50 years, that tells me what to do. So, as the fire chief mentioned, we and Bosquen, me and Tom both work on the Budget Advisory Committee. We asked the departments to cut budgets, see where they could cut any fat, if there was fat, to try to reduce the budget. And we got to do that at the school board. I have not had that chance yet, but I will. And I probably will have to do some of that tomorrow night. Because right now I'm serving on the board until the new elected comes into post, if it's not me. Thank you.
All right, next question.
So this is for the school board. So you would be ultimately in charge of the SAU or the people that work at the SAU. Is there something that you would like to see? I guess this stems from going to school board meetings and kind of getting frustrated and seeing them kind of fall in line. And oftentimes they present information and you don't really understand what they're doing and what they're saying. So is there a suggestion that you would give or something that you would like to see change at the SAU? What would you give them as like a goal to do? So thank you.
I'd like to see accountability. The superintendent is getting a raise this year. He's ultimately responsible for that $2 million deficit. I know in where I work, I don't get a damn raise if I lose money, if I miss my budget. So, but they have a union contract, it's hard, it's written for 3 years, so you can't change it. So we got to get some accountability into the contracts.
One of the things that as a new teacher, I learned that I had to listen a lot and watch a lot to see what was going on. And that'll probably be what an initial role is, simply to be absorbing. That's my phone, of course.
Once you start, turn it off.
Probably my wife wondering if I'm on my way home yet.
Well, it should have been muted before we started.
Can't talk.
We're all going to fall
So,
asleep, no more questions.
So in any event, I certainly plan to be active. I plan to be listening and learning as much as possible. But I asked an awful lot of questions when I was first starting out of administrators when they were dropping huge bombs on us the first day of teachers coming back in, of like, oh, guess what? You're reinventing the wheel. So I will be doing that, just as I did before. Learn quickly, and collaborate as much as possible with the SAU and the other members on the board.
So earlier, Becky, I talked about thinking about different avenues to communicate. And one of the things, I went to one of the board meetings and I said, hey, could you please create a slide presentation so that people could look at it and not have to run to spreadsheets to try to understand it. You have graphs and charts, and here are our drivers, and I'll tell you, if you go on the Hopkinton School website, they got a fabulous presentation that you don't need to go to a spreadsheet. If you want to go to one and dig in deeper, you can. But I think that if people had that information that they could just look at versus trying to figure out by, looking at a budget, it would be very helpful. And I think that the public hearing would have went a lot smoother because people would have had more information going in. So I would advocate for that. I would also advocate for the agendas to change, because you get this great big, huge, I'll be quick. You get this great big.
No, you won't.
This huge document of multiple pages, of 80-something pages, and I would rather see items linked into it. So for instance, they talk about policy, but you can't see it. And when they're talking about it, it would be much easier if you could just click a link and follow along, or print it at home or just see it at home when you're watching the meeting. So I think there are ways, but one other thing that I would like to do if I was elected, I would recommend that in the spring you have an advanced planning session where you start to talk about what are your goals, your academic goals for the next coming year, what are your financial goals, what are your projects you want to get done. Start thinking, instead of waiting until September and October for those things, start now. That's what I would recommend.
I would also like to see some supplemental documentation go in with the agenda, so if you're dropping into a meeting, you can follow along and know what they're talking about, so that's something I would look into. Also, I do find it hard to navigate on the MVSD website. Some of the documents on there, it is not easy to find out what time meetings are, things like that. So I would like to see that streamlined a little bit with the supplemental documentation. I would also like to see more engagement and more discussion at the school board meetings. I have been to some, and there really is not a lot of discussion. I think that maybe some supplemental docs could help that out, as well as having more participation from the community. The past couple board meetings I went to, there really was not a lot, and clearly people want to be involved, so I would encourage more participation as well.
So ditto for everything else, but I was thinking, when you go to the meeting and you get this handout and somebody comes up to the mic and they're talking and they're racing off with their thought, and we're still going, what page are we on? What are we talking about? And I can't imagine the people that are on Zoom, what they're even seeing. Maybe they could get some of the smart kids in school to work on the website and make it more user-friendly, because I know it's not very friendly. And the thing about transparency, and I've seen this over the years in our small town, but I think it's the same in every other small town, people want transparency, but then when you have a meeting, who shows up? Like 5 or 10 people. So I don't think we're trying to not be transparent, but I would love some suggestions, because people aren't really reading the papers. They're probably not really attending either in person or on Zoom. And it's out there, it's available, but people also need to show up.
The first thing I would like to see is when they have a meeting and the school board members talk, they either turn up the mics or do something, because people sitting in the audience, and it's not just me, quite frequently can't hear the person talking. I'd also like to see more engagement by the school board. In all the years, they hardly ever say anything. I went to a Kearsarge Regional School Board meeting once. I loved it. Every school board member sat there, and every agenda item, they had an actual discussion. And they didn't agree on things either. It was great, and somehow our school board has got to become more engaged. And we need transparency. That website is not user-friendly. For all the money we spend, you go on there, and half the time you can't find what you're looking for. It's somewhere under something, but we shouldn't have to be hunting for it. We just need to get along, and we need more transparency between the citizens who don't have kids in school. People who have kids in school, they get all kinds of emails. The rest of us, we don't even know what's going on. Thank you.
Next question. We all questioned out? And of course not.
Just one quick question. Donna LeClaire Loudon. I just want to know who is responsible for negotiating all these contracted contracts for the school district?
Should be a quick answer, I guess.
Yeah, so, and David can probably answer it better, but it's representatives from the board, and the SAU will negotiate with the union. So they'll have people from the union, and sometimes they'll have people from the NEA attend
Yes.
too. Yeah. Others?
No, that's generally speaking what
Okay.
I've seen.
Yep.
Any other questions? No. All right. It's been a good hour and 37 minutes. All right. Thank you very much. You can stick around and ask questions, I'm sure, and thank you.
I'd like to thank, people just mentioned that people not showing up to meetings. I'd like to thank all of you. You filled every seat out there. Thank you so much for coming out.
Show up tomorrow, vote, and speak your mind.